Okay, you guys, today is an insanely exciting day for this show and for me. When I started this show over 2 years ago, there were a couple people that were on my dream guest list, or people that just even kind of inspired me in what I'm trying to do. And today I finally get to speak to one of them. I was just telling her off mic that she's like a laser to me. You know, like sometimes I'll go off on a rant and it's kind of unfocused. I was listening to her show on Monday, and it's just like she's a laser with like pop culture, reality, comedy. She can switch from voices. She can switch to this. I mean, and she also has just created her own lane. And sometimes I'll brag about being on like the top 10 of TV and film podcasts. Our guest is on the top 5 of all podcasts, all genres. But not only that, she's a stand-up comedian, she's an author, she's a TV star at times. She's kind of like everything. I'm truly waiting for the shoe line to drop at some point. But just overall, she's just amazing. I know I'm kissing her ass, but I'm just so excited. I'm so beyond thrilled to be able to share just even a little of time. She's doing charity for me today. Ladies and gentlemen, from Juicy Scoop, Heather McDonald. Heather,
thank you.
Wow.
Thank you so much. Very sweet. I call it Christian service. Everyone has to get their Christian service hours in.
Is this tax deductible for you at all?
Yeah. I mean, but that's just one thing that I used to say, like, hey, tell people about Juicy Scoop, do your Christian service, because I grew up in Catholic school and my son's in Catholic school. And you just got this letter from the school being like, your son has not completed his Christian service hours yet, and it's just something that so many people, if you've been in that world, can relate to. And then as an adult, you're like, you know what, just do your good deed. But actually, I really enjoy following you on Instagram. And so, I'm happy to talk to you today. And thank you so much for the
Heather. I know Christian. I was an altar boy. I was never invited to the pool parties, but I was an altar boy. My mom's like still just a practicing Catholic through and through. You just got back from actually the Catalina wine mixer, which was huge this weekend, which actually is just a thing they actually do to celebrate the movie Step Brothers, right?
Oh my God, it was so fun. I mean, there were some hardcore. First of all, I had never seen Step Brothers, but my sons who are teenagers enjoyed it. So the week before, I was like, let's watch it as a family. And I love it because basically, if you haven't seen it, basically Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly are like late 30s guys that are losers that are like living at the parents' house, but they're really just acting like any teenage real brothers act. So it's so funny. It's so politically incorrect and great. And
it's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. And so these people so then you could go and watch the movie with all these people. It was like people yelling out stuff. And I really didn't know what to expect. I thought it was honestly just like a wine tasting. And I was like, wow, this is kind of expensive. Like, hope it's worth it. It totally was worth it. And it was really fun, but it was a mix of people too. Like it wasn't, it was just a mix of people. So like, I would say if you're going to go, you should definitely go with like at least 3 or 4 other people, almost like a Coachella, like where it's really about the group that you hung out with. It's not really about the entertainment or whatever. It's like one of those fun moments where the next morning you recap the weird people you met. And then, like all that, like that's what made it kind of fun. Yeah.
I actually, speaking of Coachella, I just went to Coachella this year, which is like my knees are just, it's not made for that anymore. But I ended up hanging with like Sheena and Sandoval and Ariana and which is wild. But I noticed like you always are in these situations too. Like you just went to Jeff Lewis's Memorial Day party. We had the picture with Shannon Bedore, Kelly Dodd, MJ, who I love. But I also noticed, like, I remember like, I don't know, it was last Christmas. I don't know what time means anymore, but like you were at a party with Crystal Minkoff. You hang with like, what is it like? Because I also feel like now you're even getting bigger than the reality stars you cover. And what is it like being in this? Because you also have a take on it where it's kind of comedic in a way. Like, do you ever kind of like, this is really like Inception hanging with these people?
Well, I mean, what's great is that like when I've met them and I've had them on my show, I really love having someone like Crystal be on my show where I'm one of the first podcasts she's done. And because I'm like, I don't care about what happened at some party that you arrived late for. And like, I'm like, let's get who you were before the show. And I think then, and what's great is people will come back like a Crystal and be like, I got the greatest response from that. People understood that I wasn't some like concubine. Like I went to UC Irvine. I had my own business, which they did not feature. She's got this huge like cocoa water that's like in Costco's and stuff. Yeah. She's very successful. She's like, you know, so I like to kind of get that type of thing. And then we have, you know, mutual friends, and I've been in this business a long time. And then and listen, when I make friends, I'm actually a really good friend, and I cultivate the friendship, and I'm pretty fun when we hang out with. So I'm not like seeking out like
No,
to
like you
be
never
friends.
do actually, but
Yeah,
it's like, it's just fascinating.
But there are people I'm genuinely like friends with. I'm genuinely friends with Lala Kent. Like, I really care about her. We really talk a lot. We've been friends for like 4 years, but I did meet her by having her come on my show. And then sometimes in a long interview, you know, where they're sitting across from me, I was like kind of connected with her. And then over the years, and we'd see each other at events and then hang out. And like, I like her personality and her sense of humor. And then of course, just being friends with her, I was so excited about going to the wedding. I really loved Randall. Like, I was
Hey,
all
what
excited.
happened with her and Rand? Are they still doing good? Are they? Yeah.
Oh,
well, you were friends with
God.
Randall too, and you had to like. I mean, I remember at BravoCon, I think you had hung out with them as
Yeah.
well, and like that's kind of. In fact, by the way, my roommate is obsessive about you, Patreon member, everything, and made me listen to your Lala interview with the book, and actually sold me on the book, that interview.
Yeah.
And I was like, but was it weird though that you were in that situation where we're all in of like, I'm friendly with both, and then you hear these stories.
I mean, when the breakup, which I wasn't sure if the breakup was real. Like, when the photos first came out of him walking across the street with these two girls, I was doing shows in Chicago, and like a Juicy Scooper came up to me and was like, "Do you know what's going on?" And I'm like, "I saw a little bit that before I went on stage," but I'm like, after Randall and Lala came to my show, Lala had to take off, and Randall had dinner with me and Spencer Pratt and my sister. And at one point, my sister and I had to walk across the street back to our cars with Randall. And I'm like, if someone got a photo of the three of us. So I was a little bit like, you know, these fans are crazy,
exactly.
which is why I don't really enjoy the blind items, which I think they're kind of shitty. Like, you know, I understand they're making
I wanted to bring that up
out of
actually.
it.
Yeah, but
yeah, they're making a whole living out of it too. And I don't begrudge anybody, but I'm like really reluctant how much I share on my show or in my groups, because I'm like, you know, just saying that, oh, you know, blind item, you know, it's like these Reddit stories that I follow.
Anyone can say anything now. Like, we can say anything. Yeah.
So you could say anything. It's like anonymous, allegedly. And so, but I'm also like, but, you know, unless someone had like, you know, when the Potomac girl with the Australian husband, like that, there was a photo of that guy in his underwear in a hotel room with a female. And he admitted, he's like, yeah, I was there. I thought we were just going to eat snacks and take a nap, whatever he wants to say.
Wait, to be fair, that's how I eat food by myself in bed, just with my undies on. And
with a woman who could take the photo.
Sure,
but like,
yeah.
I'm like, that's like legit. I get it. Like, that gets out there. You're a messy star who got with a girl who took a photo of your tattoos, so we undeniably knew it was you in the bed with you. That's fine. But when other people just say, oh, I met this housewife's husband at a nightclub, we spent the night together, and that gets put on, I kind of like, I don't really like that. Also, you know, I'm at a level where I have been sued. So like, I also, you know, besides respecting people's, you know, life, and, you know, it's like, I'm always just like, you know what, I can come up with another joke. I can come up with another story. I can come up with another impression. So if something feels wrong, or so many other people are covering a dirty mess, I'm like, just let them have it. I'd just rather not even deal.
I went off on Friday about that. And I don't think you, but I don't know if you even paid attention to that Rinna, Kathy, that Patrick thing. And it even continued on last night. I don't know if you watched the 6-minute audition tape that this guy put out, but this is exactly what we're talking about.
This is my juicy scoop for you. Okay.
Oh.
So when that thing first started with the going back of each of them reposting each other's stuff, okay, that was a week ago Saturday, or whatever, previous Saturday, Memorial Day weekend. I see this thing and I see this, you know, who's this Patrick? So I DM him and I'm like, it's Heather McDonald. Will you, can we talk on the phone? Can you tell me what this is about? And he's like, yeah, give me your number. No problem. I talked to this guy for 30 minutes. All right.
Oh,
yes. I talked to this guy for 30 minutes, and I kind of was like protecting his identity, like not identity, but like what he told me. I shared a little bit about it, like on my Patreon, but I also like kept things out because I was like, well, he didn't say per se he could come on. He did tell me there was this TV show that was happening with gay guys, in West Hollywood,
The Real House Husbands or something. Yeah.
Which is totally believable, like that could happen. They did it previously with the A-list or something in Bravo. And I think it was a little premature, to be honest. Now I think featuring gay guys and their lifestyles, I think, you have a much larger audience today than you did 10 years ago. So I was like, okay. So he kind of tells me about his life and this and that. He did tell me, I go, well, now you met her in person, yes. Where? Craig's. And I was like, I remember thinking, if they went to Craig's with another Utah Real Housewife, I'm like, I think if I put that out to the world, some sleuths could figure out if that was true or not. I remember thinking that, but at the same time, I was like, okay, who knows? But something did tell me like that Rinna somehow was in on it,
Yeah.
So then I share a little bit about it, like on Patreon, whatever. And then, but I kind of was like, I don't know how much I want to like feature this in my groups and stuff because it was just so weird and so confusing.
Messy. And yeah.
So now Thursday, I'm on the boat. Okay. We arrive on the Catalina on my boat and I go to dinner and I come back to my boat. Don't mean to brag. Had some.
Your husband sails, right? Your husband's a sailor. Yeah.
I was just saying, because I also had like Wi-Fi and stuff. Anyway, so I was under Wi-Fi and I am like, what the hell is this? That's when the news came out. This was all bullshit, says Patrick. I was I was paid $27,000 by Kathy Hilton. That's the first thing that comes.
Oh, Heather, it was more specific than that. It was $27,737.73 for
to create
and she 1099 me. Kathy Hilton filled out paperwork with him. Yeah.
And I go, this is absolutely bullshit. Like, I'm like, it's bullshit. There's no way Kathy Hilton would do this, that she needs to do it. And so I do some other research. I'm not going to get all into it, but I was very annoyed. So I do an emergency Patreon on Friday. I already had my one Patreon come out Friday. I do another one at like the next whatever tier, really explaining it. But part of my explaining was like, I don't want to give this guy, Lisa, or anybody else any more press on this. Yeah. Like, but it was kind of a slow weekend, Johnny, Amber are done and like, blah, blah, blah. And so then I see his video last night, his testimonial video last night about the LA mission. And,
basically what he came out last night, you guys, and said, Rinna is the one. He and Rinna concocted this plan. And it just went out of hand because she ended up doxing him by posting the number, which was never part of the initial plan. And so it was like shot with this huge curtain in the background, like a very like ominous, like an 8-foot curtain in it was really ominous. And he said, I do a lot of charity work. He tried to like be softer, try to be like all like a pious saint, and it was like, this is what it is, and I'll produce anything I need to produce. But at this point, the guy's credibility is just so shot. And Rinna, which was funny on Thursday, this is what I was ranting about on Friday, because I was like watching everybody they wanted it to be true so bad. They wanted Kathy to have hired this kid and to pay him $27,000. They wanted it. And like this other account like DM'd him and actually put his DMs up. She gained like 15,000 Instagram followers overnight just by this little unverified piece of information. And then Lisa wants to believe it's still so bad. She posts this person's post of like, see, Kathy's a part of this. She's excited. She's really, and then at this point, I just don't believe Rinna's involved. I don't believe Kathy's involved. I believe this kid really wants attention, and we all fell for it.
I think one of them could be involved.
Really?
But I honestly, there are so many reasons why, and there's so many things to dissect. Yeah, and honestly, it's like to re-educate everybody of all the different steps. Why? I'll put a couple whys. Why did she have his number in his first place?
Yeah.
So she had his number. So they did know.
Somebody said, though, it said in the original DM, it said, do you want to make this not like junk mail like iPhones do? Which means that would be the first time that guy texted her if it still was saying junk mail in the bottom of that text, potentially.
You mean of unknown senders, you mean?
Yeah, unknown senders. Yeah.
Mm. I don't know, but yeah, I felt it was.
But he was like,
know,
thanks for the storyline. He goes, you're welcome for the storyline. And I'm like, this isn't going to be a storyline.
It's
like,
not going to be a storyline. They're done filming. And like, I don't care about it 2 days later, like move. But, you know, I do feel like it's weird because we, you know, speaking of Amber Heard and Johnny, it's like, I said this on the show too. I'm like, I believe that she was a victim of domestic
you
violence.
said two things can be true at the same time.
I said she could be a victim, but also lie, exaggerate, and be a manipulator. But still, bad things could have happened to her that were under the guise of what she said in her op-ed was not a lie, which was I was a victim of domestic abuse, which could be emotional abuse, could be awful things you said, could be whatever. So that's all I was, saying to that. And I think like with this kid, some things that he said could be true and some could be lied and exaggerated and trying to dig himself out of it. I don't know, but exactly what you said, like, I'm like, we've all been catfished. It was just totally exhausting. And it kind of angered me because I'm like, it wasted my time. And then to be honest, like people that are like just getting in the game of this are like, yes, I got the scoop. And I'm like, all right, what's the scoop? And they're like, oh, I'm not going to talk to Heather McDonald and give her the scoop. I'm like,
yeah, he said, Patrick said that Heather was too big. I had to go on a smaller podcast because Heather was too big and it would have upset his NDAs and stuff like that, which I was like, why?
Wait, he said, okay, yes. I didn't even know that. He
Heather,
said,
yes, he said, I'll find it for you and send it. He said, because this other guy, I forgot the podcast. Blonde hair, heart. Black heart. Yes, yeah. Yes. He did an interview with them and he feels completely betrayed because it turned out to be all lies, but he showed an original text and it said, sorry, Heather was too big for me. And it would have upset some of the NDAs and things that I was trying to achieve through the PR campaign. So I had to do a smaller, but it just seemed like another made up thing.
In talking to him on my 30-minute pre-interview, I did not offer him to come on my show because I thought this is messy and it's ugly. And I know Kathy, I've interviewed Lisa. I absolutely love her lip stuff. I don't really know what's true. I don't know. I think that she plays along with social media because she doesn't really care, but really orchestrating something. I don't know if I believe that she really orchestrated it.
Yeah,
I think she might have jumped in and played in the water a little bit with it and then like got the hell out. I don't know, but
I know she likes stirring things up, but at the same time, it's also, I don't think she's really tech savvy a lot. So I think the leaking that guy's number was an honest mistake. I really don't think she was trying to dox that kid.
Right. And then what I did say to the kid, Patrick, is I said, well, good luck. Like, I'm so, because, he was woeing to me about how his life's been ruined since she put out his number. But he really didn't tell me like what the beef between them was so weird, but it did have to do a little bit with a racially insensitive comment. So I was like, okay, I understand why that would be touchy, why she might be freaking out. That's what he told me, but I didn't understand like why it got so ugly. And so then with that, I just said, well, hey, when the show comes out, when this gay Men of Hollywood show comes out, I'd love to have you on Juicy Scoop. That's what I offered him. I did not ever offer him come on the show to talk about this weird thing, because again, I didn't really legitimize it. And also I'm like, my people that listen to my show, they want like comedy. They want legit. This is like a little too inside baseball for my general audience.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, this will just be Patreon. And that's the whole thing. But I mean, I don't know how I feel. I kind of feel sorry for the kid because obviously there's a reason why he is in this weird position. And I don't think it's like a high level of success, sadly.
No. I mean, yeah. But you were talking about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, and I'm not going to get into the weeds with that, but I do want to point out, because I was listening to your Monday show with Sarah Colonna, and you brought up, this is what worries me. Like, he's like, quote unquote, victorious. And then we get this news item. He's touring with not Jimmy Page. He's touring with Jeff Beck right now. He's a big musician, Johnny Depp. And he goes to celebrate with 20 friends at like an Indian restaurant overseas and spends $60,000 for 20 people. Now, regardless of abuse allegations, all of this stuff, there has been articles about Johnny's like wild spending and how he got to the place he got. Like what I was just like, oh shit, we're back at this play. We're like, you're spending $60,000. Like, did you like request money from people, like Ben requests, like these friends? Like you shouldn't be covering your victory party yourself, Johnny.
Right. And I just think he is. I think that's, but also in the Amber defense, you kind of wonder, when someone is that generous, that lovely, not only to you, but your husband and to your best friend, you know, it's like, oh my God, he was so wonderful to us. I always joke that there was a ton of busboys in Beverly Hills that said OJ was the nicest guy in the world. Okay. And caddies and everything else. Doesn't mean he was nice to Nicole Brown Simpson. So it's like, yeah, when someone's like generous and sweet to you, and I think he loves it, but yeah, I think it's time that you scale back from that generosity, make your circle a little smaller, make it a little less generous. Definitely pick up a dinner at Cheesecake Factory, but maybe don't have someone move into your pet house.
You know how good Cheesecake Factory is? You know, like you enjoy the cheesecake. Like, but I just thought that was so, I was like, oh no, we're already back to this wild spending. Cause I don't even think you said that was like a celebration party. I think that was just like a normal like night out. I don't even think that was celebration, I feel. But I wanted to tell you this. I used to work at this acting studio, Leslie Kahn, and was like a teacher there. And one of the teachers, Christina Sexton, was Amber Heard's coach, and she was actually in the trial, and she was like a really awesome girl, but she was there when like the romance happened. She went to the wedding, and she would tell me stories about that generosity of like, yeah, he just flew all of us here, and he had like a whole enclave of houses off Sunset Boulevard, and anything we want, we can get. And it was just like wild. But she also said that, yeah, he had a real problem with alcohol. Like he
but like, okay, hold on, because I know everyone is a super Johnny Depp fan, but as someone who's seen a lot of relationships and as a female and everything, I think that's a deliberate move on his part.
100%.
So then when the love bombing stops, or when he wants to control her, or when they get in a fight and she calls up those friends saying he's such an asshole, this and that, those friends who it's on their calendar that they're all going to the Johnny Depp Island in 10 days, are going to talk her down, are going to say, Amber, you guys are just so passionate for each other, you know, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I mean, I've been the friend of the rich husband.
Yeah.
You know, I never witnessed any ugliness, but we would placate to that husband. I would make sure that he was happy, you know, and I would let him say a couple like rude, snarky things to me that were a little demeaning, because I'm staying in this fucking mansion.
Well, it's like the Girardi, Erica Jane stuff too. Yes. Like you get what you like, you know, you're kind of bought in a certain way. And everybody, even on Beverly Hills, we saw like, we love the PJs, we love, or, you know, even that whole lifestyle is really exciting. Like I went on a date once and she brought her girlfriends, and all I could do was like buy some well drinks. Like I was like, no, not top shelf. We'll go well. Like it's really exciting when somebody pays for things that you're doing, you know?
It really is. And then you're just kind of like, well, they're so nice to me. They're so great to me. And then at the same time with the, you know, with the spouse of that person that's so generous, if they reveal to you too much, and then you have some morality and you're like, honey, get out of this. Well, then they're like, now they have to cut you off because they're staying and they're embarrassed. Yeah. So it's like a very weird position to be when you are completely carte blanche, the guest, you know, like, it's like, just, you know, take advantage of those situations when someone invites you, but, you know, keep both eyes open, don't get sucked into it, and know that, you know what, I better go on this trip because it might be the last. This couple may turn out to hate me. This couple may break up. This guy might hit on me.
Get yours immediately.
Get it? Like, because it might be the last time. Yeah.
Did you, I was thinking, do you ever wonder like how long it takes Johnny to get ready in the morning? He has like 80 bracelets on it all. Like, do you think the bracelets just stay on? Do you think he takes them off at night? Like the guy has to take like 45 minutes just to get ready, just for the accoutrement, you know?
When he was slowly turning to like a weird English French accent thing, which was like about 12 years ago, and all the scarves and all the rings and all that stuff, my friend Chris Frangiola, we were doing Chelsea Lately together, and we came up with a sketch where Johnny Depp, and he played Johnny Depp, was having his own scarf line on QVC. And I was the QVC lady that was like styling it. And I'm being like, just being like, oh, isn't this not fun? It's fun. It's fun. And tell us a little bit. And then he'd be like, like with the way he talks. And so, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, yeah.
Do you think the Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing will get picked up for a second season? Do you think it's done? What do you?
I mean, I
know she immediately appealed, but
yeah, I mean, everyone says they're like tired of it, but like there's still so much more discussion to be had. It's like, but it'll kind of be just interesting to see what happens with it. Does she appeal? Do they settle? If I was him with the appeal, I mean, I'd have my team go and say, let's just make it a wash.
Yeah.
I don't want to fight it again. You go get jobs. I get jobs, but just know you don't have to pay me the 8.3. Like,
he got this televised. He got the love.
8.3. You're, be a mom, do this. But I don't know if I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know if anything can be done in mediation between lawyers calling each other. But if I was him, that's what I would do. I kind of
want to see you as his lawyer. Like, we got the star lawyers already. They got their juice. Let's get you in there for like a mediation or something.
Just being like, yeah, Johnny,
lighten it up.
When you were talking about though, like his generosity and stuff, it's so funny because, with my family and my boys, one time my younger son, he's just a little irresponsible. He's a teenage boy, and like, I got all this money for his birthday. And like, at one point, like some cash was coming out of his his pocket. And I was like, all right, from now on, give me all your money. When you need it, I'll give it to you. And he's like, I'm not Britney Spears, mom, and
not yet.
No. And then, but then, so like that, those are references in my house. And then just the other day, I was like, we're doing this and we're going to go here. And my husband's like, you're not Johnny Depp, and I'm like, oh my God.
That would be great if your sons start wearing like scarves and a lot of rings. Like, where did you get all those topaz rings? Like, this is too much. Chris Frangiola, by the way, I wanted to mention this. I used to, my best friend, Sarah, who I used to live with, worked at Mirabelle when Chris Frangiola was a waiter at Mirabelle. And I would go see his stand-up with Sarah when he was doing like when it was like before Chelsea, before all of this stuff, and him. And it was just like, I would always go in there to get free drinks. And then he would just make fun of me. Like, it was like, and it was so exciting to see how big Chris is now as well. But
awesome.
I wanted to bring up, moving on to the Beverly Hills stuff. I wanted to, I feel like a kid in a candy store, because I've been wanting to show you in particular something for so long, because I know you're kind of an art collector as well. And I won at the Tom Girardi auction a huge oil painting of Tom and his brothers. I know you had won some things.
What did you pay for that? What did you pay for that?
That only went for like $200, but I'll tell you what, this though, the lingerie, went for $500. This is the Agent Provocateur lingerie that Tom Girardi bought somebody that wasn't Erica Jane. So,
I think that you and I both scored with the fans. I got a coat rack, but it's pretty fucking ugly. And now that you're $700 deep.
Well, no, Heather, no. Listen, my life's already ruined. Like, I'm a wash. This is as good as it gets right in this hour right now. So like, I'm like, just going to like put out all the stops. In fact, if I ever meet you, I have I did like a mystery grab bag box for like $50, and it came with like 40 law trophies. And I would love to donate this to the Juicy
What is
Scoop.
that?
It's a law award, the 2014 Dreamkeeper, given to Thomas V. Girardi. And this one I actually spilled coffee on accidentally, but it was completely ridiculous. We just I guess we're still in this from this season of Beverly Hills. Like, do you enjoy watching these shows anymore? Like, do you I used to watch these, and I used to this was like my thing. Like, I loved it. It gave me peace. And now I take notes on them. I do weird things like go to auctions. It's a carrot
it's
top
become
almost.
work. Sometimes it does feel like a little bit like work, or like I can't get through it I have to do half in the morning, half the night before. I still love all the housewife stuff. but there's ones like I used to be in the beginning of 90 Day. I thought it was amazing. And I don't really follow 90 Day anymore because it's just like that to me felt too overwhelming, too many hours a week.
2 hours plus
Too many
eight
characters.
iterations of it now. Like
Honestly, kind of hard to explain and keep people following. And like I just was like, you know what? And then so like, yeah, there's still a couple of things that's what's kind of great. It's like if you're not into something anymore, it's like if you're talented enough to keep the people entertained, you don't have to do that, And sometimes people will be like, I wish you still did this. I wish you still did that. And I'm like, well, I'm not, because it's like that felt like work, and like when I'm into something else and it's like natural for me to like, get into it deep and go 5 layers deep, like that's what I'm going to do. But no, I still enjoy, I definitely still enjoy it. I feel like I do kind of think like we're all just too, like it's a little, I think the reason people like younger people are like, oh my God, I just started watching Real Housewives of New York season 1. Honestly, that's what I kind of want to do. Like, I'm almost like jealous that like people are watching all that for the first time because it was so much more authentic and raw. It's also fun just to see something that's like 10 years old, like the clothes and the way that
the phones, like a flip
the fact
phone.
that the fact that everyone has original teeth and no eyelashes, like it's fun.
It was a wonderful time. It was nice.
So I feel like now it's just like immediately, like even when I watched the girls promoting ex-wives clubs, Real Housewives of,
Ultimate Girls Trip, yeah.
And they all came out, and it's like weird. And they gave a speech for like MTV, and like they're like, and the cattiness and the bitch. And I'm like, there is this part of me, like, and I don't want to be that person, but there is a part of me as a woman that's like, fuck. The only thing we have is women treating women horribly, exposing their lies, tearing down their businesses, physically hitting each other. And like, that's our sport. Like, that's our Super Bowl. And I'm totally part of it. So like, I'll admit I'm a fucking hypocrite who still watches it. But there is that part of me, like as a mom and a woman who's educated, that's a little bit like, and it didn't start out that way. It started.
I mean, if you watch the first episode of Real Housewives of Orange County, it's like this. It's like a documentary that would win an Oscar now. Like it's like cinema verite. Like the camera work is like really low key. There's not glossiness at all, and it's really refreshing to go back and watch those episodes.
Oh my God, old school OC ones. If that's on, I will lay in my bed and watch it all day.
No, like it sucks you in completely. Slade, when Slade's doing the American Psycho like sit-ups and stuff in the first episode.
Everything about it, like, and then when it just all became, that was about their own individual lives, and they had a little connection. Not until I think like the 3rd season of that was it, 2 women hate each other. And that's when they realized, ooh, this is what gets people talking. It had fans before like me that just sat in our bed and watched it, but we were maybe not talking about it. Like the fights get people talking because you're like, whose side are you on? What do you think really happened? If we're just watching someone, in their backyard fighting with their husband, the kids going through something tough, it's to me still fantastic. It's like, and I did not watch this show, but my mom was obsessed with it. It was the original reality show. You probably know about this show that was on PBS, and it was called The American Family or something.
That in the 70s, that's the first thing. Yeah.
They followed this pretty upper class family in Santa Barbara. There were 5 kids. In the end, one was gay, but like we didn't know that then.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought there was a son too.
No, I think the dad came out as gay later on in life.
It was super like, and there was no contriving. There was no, today you're going to go to lunch and you're going to bring up the fact that your sister got a better Christmas present than you. It was nothing like that. They were literally following them, and so I think that's kind of how it began and what the thought was, but I don't begrudge producers and everything to do what the people want and to stay on the air. And like, so it's become something different, but I still feel that people not on the shows are not suddenly throwing drinks at their friends. So I don't think it's like infiltrating our personal lives.
I throw my fake leg everywhere now. Like I just,
Yeah, you know what I
throw it.
mean? I
Yeah.
don't think it's like affecting how women treat each other. I'm just saying it's kind of a bummer in a way, but it's just a fact of life that this is what we love the most.
Well, that's what I always say. It's like it's becoming, it's like Housewives on steroids now, where now we've involved criminal activity. It's not even now just I want Vicky fighting with a family van. I want that.
Yeah.
I don't like, but now it's like, wait, we have to now get in, like now we need legal experts. Like we
Yeah.
need to worry. Jen Shaw might go to, like, Jen Shaw's allegedly bilking elderlies, and like and Erica Jane might know something. Like that's insane if you watch where it started. And I get scared. I'm like, where does it end? Are we eventually going to see a murder on these shows?
Yeah. I mean, well, the Taylor Armstrong thing was pretty, that was
Oh
pretty
yeah,
dark.
that was like second season, or that was like right coming into the second season.
Yeah. I mean, there is awful stuff like that. I mean, now, we have seen other bad stuff like that in the history of reality shows for sure, because the only kind of person that's going to make great reality TV are people that are a little off, a little narcissistic, or very, but also are choosing to do this because they want to be famous without doing the work. Like you and I, we were in plays, we went to acting class, we hoped to get this part. These people were just pretty popular people who married well. And one day they're in 160 countries on the cover of Us Weekly, women all over the world saying, I love you or I hate you. They never had to work a day in their life. And they're, it's like, it's so much for them to take, like psychologically, that, now people are exposing, that they don't, pay their maid enough, and that their husband cheated or is gay, and that, like all these things. And then you can imagine what their home life is now like when not only are they fighting, it's like, the husband goes and reads all the awful things about him from all these people. And in the
I can't even read reviews. I mean, like, I can't even imagine what it's like on that kind of scale where, you have to, I was thinking like the Lenny Lisa stuff from Miami with her getting like, he's like, she's staying in the house, even though the prenup says no, because it's like a $57 million mansion. And he's willing to pay 3.2 for a starter mansion for her.
Right.
And she's refusing to leave. And I'm like, should we know any of this? Like the fact that we know all of this as it's happening is just wild to me, because
and I think a lot of women get their husbands to sign on because the husbands are a little naive, because they've not watched reality TV this whole time. Because and the truth is that they have a very hard time getting people to do this anymore that are really wealthy or successful or attractive or interesting.
Remember Kelsey Grammer?
Yeah. I mean, and a lot of men do it though, because they are like, I want my wife to be busy and distracted so I can be with my girlfriend, or I want them to get their own career so I can divorce them. And the women are like, I hate my husband and I want to go on this so the world sees what a dick he is, or maybe he will watch it back and realize what a dick he is and love me more. Or once we get divorced, at least I'll have a career. Like it, that
it's
when
like
people
chess.
Go, why are there so many divorces? Well, these people were not strong to begin with. The couples that have lasted as long as they were strong to begin with, but they went in with a very strategic strategy to staying together, like Kyle and Mauricio, like Lisa Rinna and Harry Hamlin. I think they have a strong foundation anyway, but they are doing something going forward where they're like a little bit blinders on, a little bit set some rules that they don't get sucked into this well. But if you already have like a fractured thing, or there's already been cheating, and then along with this, it's like all the more reasons to fight and expose each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you read, I just got news today that Peacock announced 3 new Housewives locations.
Oh my God, what?
Scottsdale, Winnetka, Chicago, and
I thought it was going to be Winnetka.
Yeah, and Bakersfield, California.
I'm like, wait, now listen, if you live in Winnetka, people, there it is. Listen, I'm sure your house is still probably close to $1 million, but I just was like, that's the part of the valley they're choosing. Okay, no, Winnetka is
and then Nashville, Tennessee. So Peacock announced that this morning. It was starting to make the blogs. And I was just like, wow, are we going to
What was
get
it? Wait,
Winnetka?
What state is that?
I think that's Illinois.
And then, so like a little like rich suburb of
I'm
Chicago
I'm guessing.
and Nashville. And what was the other one?
Scottsdale, Arizona. Which,
Okay,
by the way, you could get your son goes to ASU. I'm a proud ASU grad myself, and
Oh, nice.
you can do. Come on, get in that Scottsdale thing. Which
it was so funny. But when I did my shows in Tempe, I stayed in Scottsdale, and I told my son to come over, and I'm like, let's walk around this rich neighborhood, you know. And then he's like, and he's like, this is so nice. And I go, is this what you thought it was going to be like? Like, you know, and I'm like, I think this is what people think when they go to USC or UCLA. They think it's going to be 90210 Beverly Hills, you know? And he's like, yeah, I, you know, but no, I think those are all really good. And in fact, I mean, I was pretty frank about my feelings about the first episode of Dubai, though I will continue to watch. I was like, I don't really love it because there was only one girl that actually grew up there. And the rest were just women who married like, rich investment bankers. And I literally said, I'm like, I'd rather see Chicago. I'd rather see Paris, France. I'd rather see something where you actually, because the town should play a bigger part. And I think they thought, oh, the Dubai town will, because it's just people going on to high buildings and going on like, you know, the fake sea or whatever. But I'm like, to me that, I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
I thought like everybody was like, why aren't they promoting it as much? And I was like, I think they knew they were going to get into some, you know, because Dubai has the human rights violations and all of this stuff. I think they almost counted on that. So they were like, let's just put it out without the amount of publicity we usually give, even though they spent so much money on that pot. I mean, it's so glossy. So I'm curious, but like 3 new ones, I wonder if there's going to be, I mean, there's already an oversaturation, but like it then spawns things like, and I know your parents and you you were in real estate at one point.
Yeah.
What is your opinion of, because like I love $1 Million Listing, and I think Selling Sunset cannibalized it in this weird soulless way where like it hits you so hard with music and like you're like, I think this is good. I don't know, you know, like and they all kind of seem like those Oppenheim brothers got it. It's like one CGI, like that is just a CGI brother that is like Army Hammer in Social Network. What is your opinion of things like Selling Sunset? Because I know you were talking about G Flip and Chriselle which was great to have them next to Jason in the audience.
I mean, to me, it's a totally different real estate show than like $1 Million Listing. You know, it's like $1 Million Listing are real realtors that really have deals, and Selling Sunset is all about, and it's not even about real estate, and they won't even feature their real listings if it doesn't look like they're the aesthetic that they want. Which honestly, I like to kind of watch because I'm like, okay, remind me why I'm staying in LA. Oh, let me watch the show. And just because LA looks very beautiful from a $12 million Hollywood Hills modern estate. It looks stunning. You're driving around it. It's a different situation. But like, so, I mean, I think they're fun, but I think, you know, I think it's a trend, but I also think I have told former reality stars that are no longer on shows, I was like, get your real estate license, because you could probably graduate or move to a show about real estate in your town and be on it. Also, I'm like, if you're of somebody that has 1 million followers, you'll probably get a listing by just saying, I'm going to feature your listing on my million, you know, with 1 million people on Instagram. How many, even the top broker in the area that has 12 years experience doesn't have that, which sucks for that realtor. But like, I see
they're
that
taking small mom and pop brokers. Like I've got Christine Quinn moved to my town. Yeah.
But I will tell you about real estate. One thing. Okay. My dad always used to say, when the market is good, everyone gets their license. When it gets bad, everyone goes back to teaching, being a nurse, whatever. You know, so the market will fall again. It's just,
you were just saying OnlyFans creators were going to nursing.
Yeah, they had to go back to being a nurse. It's like
that breaks my heart. That breaks my heart. Like the fact that we are back at that place. That is just, what are we doing?
I mean, thank God they're, you know, but I mean, I do think like, yeah, everybody's getting it and jumping in it. But when it starts to be, when they realize how really hard it is to get a deal and how competitive it is, then the best people will stay. And I think the best people are just like, whatever, this is a sign of the times. But I mean, I think it's a fun trend, but like anything else, like people will start getting over that, I don't know.
I know I just got like about 10 more minutes with you. So, and I didn't hit anything that I wanted to, but I just want to you have a bunch of reoccurring guests that I love. Frangiola, Sarah Colonna, Brandy, and they're awesome.
Yeah.
Who else? Justin Martindale.
Yeah.
What for that? Is it just like those are the people that I feel the most free to be the funniest around? Like it's just that good give and take. What makes a good recurring guest for you?
I mean, for me, I've known Chris and Sarah for a really long time. So we did Chelsea Lately together. I think Sarah was my first guest, or Chris was my first guest on the show. And then I encouraged them to get their own podcast and stuff. But what's great is just they get a lot from coming on my show, I think, and I thoroughly enjoy them. So yeah, so I like having them come on regularly. I also do shows by myself. I also sometimes have a more one-on-one type of
your Patreon. You do true crime
interviews. Yes. So I like doing all different, different kind of stuff, and but yeah, those, it's rare that I have a good, I have a great rapport with you. I have a pretty good rapport with most people. Some people come on and they're just a little bit nervous. And then those are the harder interviews, but those aren't the comedian, journalist type people. Those are just someone that might be a little bit nervous because I'm a comedian or whatever. And then sometimes those are a little more challenging interviews, but I still like to do that because I still like to do just get the scoop from someone's life.
Heather, I'm literally standing on a pile of my own urine right now. That's how nervous I was talking to you. And but you're a professional. No, but I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. You're a professional. You could make, that's when true professionals that you could jam with anybody. You could you make it good. That's why I think sometimes they don't realize how people don't realize how tough it is what you do because you make it look so damn easy. And it's because when you start doing this, you're like, oh my God, this is hard. This is really hard to make something interesting and to make something funny and to actually, like you said, put your own perspective out there, which is what people love. Because even since I started this, I have primarily a female audience, and every one of them said, Heather McDonald, Heather McDonald, Heather McDonald, Juicy's, or they would post at your shows in Tempe, or they would post on your, and that's would you ever have thought 6 years ago and all that this would be do you even realize that you're big, or do you just I know that's a weird question, but do you realize the impact you're having now? And could you have even guessed this 6 years ago?
I really started it just so that I would have an outlet since Chelsea Lately ended. That was such a great, she was so great about promoting the people's stand-up dates. So once that ended, I was like, how am I going to get people to keep going to my stand-up shows without being on TV? I'm afraid it's going to die down. And at that time, that was really my main source of income, was going out on the road. And so that's why I kind of, we all shitted on podcasts 10 years ago.
Oh yeah.
It
was This American Life, and then everything else.
Yeah.
Sucked. Yeah.
And then when I thought, honestly, the story is I was at what we call a beat club, a good club, but a smaller club. And I was there and I saw there was a poster of Tom Segura, and I didn't even know who he was, except that he was married to my friend, Christina Pazinski, who was on Chelsea Lately for a time. And also went to my high school, whatever. But everyone would talk about his podcast. And this is 7 years ago. And I was like, oh, this guy is a really popular podcast. And the owner goes, yeah, he comes in on a Tuesday night and makes this much in one night because he can sell out the club because this audience is so excited to see him. And that's when I was like, okay, I guess I need to start a podcast. So I started a podcast, and I, didn't make any money the first year, barely. I didn't really even know who was listening because it didn't really reflect in my social media. And so then I went through some, ups and downs and weird things, but I'm not surprised because I was telling my son, he's like, what did you think your life would be like? And I go, oh, I always wanted to be an actress or a comedian. I always thought I'd be one day on the stage of the Improv. But I thought I'd be a sitcom mom. I really thought that was always my dream. I'd be a mom on a sitcom. But I also thought, one day I'll be a mom and I'll write a book, and my kids will interrupt me, which totally happened. And then and then I also said, and I could not believe that I remember, I was like, I'm sure one day I'll be able to do a radio show and the technology will be that I can do it from my home. I really like secreted that without knowing it. And then when I said that, my son goes, well, that's what you're doing now. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't even realize. So like, no, I didn't think that this would be the pinnacle of my success. Like quote unquote, a radio show, like 20 years ago, a radio show.
Yeah.
I did not think that, but, it's just supernatural for me. Like I've, always talked on the phone, and a lot of people don't talk on the phone. A lot of people text. And now all of a sudden everyone is like, have a podcast. And I'm like, I don't even know if these people know how to properly speak, like
they don't.
But I'm also like, don't want to be that person that, everyone has a podcast. Everyone has a real estate license. Yeah, they do. And the successful people will rise to the top. And in the meantime, even if nobody listens, because I'm sure there's people listening right now that have a podcast that maybe like, their mom and 4 other people. What I think it's great is it's just a form of like keeping your memories and journaling or whatever. So like, do it as long as you like it. If it becomes a burden and you're not making any money, you can always take a break. It's not like a failure. Who cares? That's what's kind of great, is because the technology isn't expensive and it isn't hard to do. And every single person on earth could have a podcast and the earth wouldn't blow up. Like, so I think it's
eventually we all will have our own podcast. But by the way, Heather says that, and that's all nice. I say, don't do it. Do not do it. It's too expensive. One, she says cheap, but like we're talking thousands upon thousands just to get going. So, let's
I will say it's a lot harder than you think. And I think people realize that why a lot of people that got these huge deals, that were stars and stuff, where they were bored during COVID and their manager said, all you have to do is sit on your bed and talk to your dog and you're going to make, 10,000 a week. A lot of those people are not doing it anymore because they realized I couldn't come up with this content once a week. I was sick of bothering my friends to be on it. And now I'm back and I'm auditioning and I have a Netflix show. So fuck this dumb little podcast. Thank you. Get out of our space.
Yeah.
Like this wasn't made for Bill Clinton to have a podcast. It's like,
oh yeah, Barack and Bruce Springsteen. Like what?
Like what
are you talking about?
To do? Yeah.
Okay. So the thing is though, you did, like, I don't mean this is your pinnacle, but I'm saying this is crazy because it's a huge success. And then you're able to, like, you sold your own stand-up special. You also this is just like J-Lo said at the awards the other night, just honestly, the beginning.
Well, also that's like exhausting. That's also like at a certain point, I'm like, is like Hollywood ever going to fucking recognize how great I am? Maybe not. But that's what's also great about this.
But you do your own TV show on YouTube, you guys. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm in my janky bedroom with a little like neon. She has this, you guys know, she has this beautiful set that I just like, and she has the iPad and all that. Just really, really, it's like a late night talk show. Like, that's what's so cool about it is you did that all yourself. And I'm like, you're literally telling people, look, you could have this on your cables. Like I just think that's because the quality is so amazing.
You are so sweet. And I will definitely make sure that Annie, who works for me, and my husband, who really, he found the space, built the studio, all that. I make sure that he listens to that little bit, because it is true. And I mean, that is the idea. And who knows, it might happen. But in the meantime, I mean, I do have ambition for more at the same time, but at the same time, I'm very normal in that I'm just like, so grateful to like wake up every day and be excited to do this and enjoy it, and still have like enough time to go to the Catalina Wine Festival, go to stand up. So it's like, it's not like I, sought out, I'm just kind of like, it's all good. It's all good. But
I'm sure it's uncomfortable for me to kiss your ass like that. I'm sorry, but it's true. You really did inspire me. And I know like thousands of others on top of the listeners. Finally, I didn't really get into this, but it was like breaking news today that Pete Davidson took Saint to Walmart. And
Walmart. I know it was Cheesecake Factory.
He did that now.
Keep it real.
He's real.
What Walmart? Which Walmart?
I don't. It was in TMZ today, and they had pictures of Pete checking out with Saint, and I'm like, I love that he's like helping the kids cosplay as poor. Like I love.
I feel this is a little calculated.
You think? Yeah. I mean,
it's like Jennifer Gardner that would always go to that one park in Coldwater. And I'm like, you live on 2 acres. You couldn't put a slide in your kid's backyard.
Is Ben Affleck still your ideal male?
Mm, no, not anymore. But like, I always liked him just from the town, like that time, But I'm happy for J-Lo. Like, I'm happy for J-Lo, and I did like her speech, and I hope it does really work out for them in the end. I hope this, isn't engagement number 6 and there's a 7. But no, like, why? Listen, I'm thinking about where she lives, and there is a Walmart at the Fallbrook like shopping area. So, but there's also, let me think for a minute. Yeah, I guess Walmart, technically, there's a Walmart and a Target in the same thing. So he could have chosen Target, but it seems pretty deliberate that he went to Walmart, and I'm sure he said, listen, paparazzi aren't hanging out the Walmart at the Fallbrook Mall. So someone let them know that they'd be there.
It's like when Braun went in OC was always like, I don't know. They just stay out my house. I don't know.
Yeah. It's like, exactly. Yeah.
But I think that it is really interesting that we're getting all these paparazzi shots with like integrating the kids. And we've seen that on Kardashians lately, and you were just talking about this with Kim eating her poop. But this last, Kim was like, I'm basically DTF. I called . And like, I was like, wow. So you just literally were like, I'm going to sleep with that dude. And that's going to be, and then it worked out for her. I was
I think, but that's honestly what we all thought though. Like,
no, totally. That's why it's so weird.
Like, like she literally said the same thing. She was just like, I was like, let me try something different, totally different. And I also heard he had a big dick. So if I'm going to fuck someone new, let me, he's become highly recommended. He's highly recommended.
Ariana,
like a dermatologist.
I read his Yelp reviews. His Yelp reviews were amazing.
Yeah, like if 8 of the best actresses with skin goes to, this Dr. Kardashian, you're gonna be like, or Dr. Kasabian or whatever. Let's go to Dr. Kasabian, let's go to Dr. Kasabian and get our face. Yeah, so he came very highly recommended. So, and I love.
And she said it with a robotic voice too on the show. She's like, basically, I was DTF. I was like, show a little like oomph, like let's like you're talking about sex now, and you make it sound like you're like knitting a quilt or something.
And I mean, I think we all know, like she probably hadn't screwed Kanye in like, who knows, in like a couple years. The last 2 kids were even done by IVF. So it's like, I don't know. I mean, there's some couples that hate each other and like are like hate fucking during a divorce. I think 90% of the people that don't like each other, that's like the first thing to go. And there's so much resentment, and like that's like nobody wants to touch each other. So like I kind of think I think it might have been a minute since she'd had some D.
But it pisses me off too, because it's like, she was like, oh my God, we sat in bed and watched TV. And I'm like, girl, you would fucking flip over at my house. Like I watch TV nonstop. Like you would love, like, I mean, like, the dick is average, but like, if TV is blowing your mind.
Honestly though, like, and I am not going to criticize her as a mother or anything, but I do not understand how she has time to, fly East Coast, West Coast with him, study for the bar, do her skims, be a mom to 4 kids, deal with divorce attorneys. I don't know. I mean, it's amazing. Like, good for her, but it's kind of weird.
The empire is insane, and you talk about it on your show as well. I know I gotta get you out of here, I'm not gonna take any more of your time. So anyways, Heather McDonald, Juicy Scoop, her. I mean, listen, there's nothing I can do to help Heather. So this truly was charity today. She really is a real big hero of mine. So thank you so much for doing this today. You're just amazing at this. And I didn't hit anything. I didn't get Tempe Fall. I didn't get any. Anyways, okay. Heather, thank you so much.
I'm much better for my Tempe Fall. I will be at the Krug Winery. Napa. June 17th. I'm working on some fall dates. That's really the only date you can buy tickets to is June 17th, 5:30 and 8:30. And I've got Julie Goldman and Justin Martindale coming with me. So you won't just see me. It'll be a real fun show. And then of course Juicy Scoop every Tuesday and Thursday, and follow me on Instagram.
You guys. The Patreon is so good because she even goes she did in-depth stuff, like stuff that she doesn't talk about on the show, stuff like with the guests behind the scenes. And I'm not talking it's real behind the scenes stuff, which I was going to ask. I was like, are you ever scared about revealing too much on the Patreon? Because you really go, you really reveal real stuff on there.
Um, I'm pretty open. I'm pretty much, but I mean, I'm still going to be a little bit because um, like I know Jill Zarin. Jill Zarin goes, I joined Patreon, so I said, be careful about what you say about me. She's so smart, So what? And I also know like it's a lot of people, so I'm like, but I'm very confident that the people that are bothering to pay, even though it's not a lot of money, to be part of it are really like hardcore fans of mine. But no, I'm still not gonna say anything defamatory or anything, but maybe I'll just be a little bit more raw with my opinion because I'm like, then I will be on the regular show. But I definitely share more about my personal life, personal feelings, those little things like, friendship breakups, different like stuff like that I wouldn't want all the other people to hear. So that I do love the outlet of Patreon for that reason, because I use it like I like it as like a little therapy for me as well. So
no, it's awesome. You guys, it's totally worth it. Like, yeah. So Heather McDonald, thank you so much. Dream come true. And we will talk to you guys next time.
bye.